Absolutely no offseason in Buffalo ever feels quiet, and 2025 has been no different. After a season where the Bills' offense was one of the most efficient in franchise history, expectations are sky-high heading into the new year. But unlike last year, where new faces were popping up across the depth chart and the offensive coaching staff was undergoing a reshuffle, this season is about something the Bills haven't had in a long time: continuity. That's what makes this year's offensive projection so exciting. Josh Allen's entering this season not trying to figure out his receivers on the fly or adjusting to a brand new scheme. He's walking into a huddle that's almost identical to what he had last year. Same offensive coordinator in Joe Brady. Same quarterback coach. Same offensive line, with Connor McGovern now fully settled at center and David Edwards locking down the left guard spot. And most importantly, a returning core of weapons that now has an entire season of chemistry under its belt. Last season, Josh Allen had to operate with a completely rebuilt wide receiver room. Stephon Diggs? Gone. Gabe Davis? Gone. Khalil Shakir was the only holdover, and he was expected to take a massive leap in responsibility. And yet, the offense still found ways to thrive. That's a testament to Allen, but it also highlights just how dramatically different things are this year. Heading into 2025, Allen now has legitimate familiarity with his targets. Shakir is no longer a breakout hopeful. He's a known commodity. Dalton Kincaid's rookie season is behind him. And now Keon Coleman, Joshua Palmer, and potentially even Elijah Moore stepping into roles that could make this group more explosive than what we saw last year. That continuity is why I'm projecting a step forward for the Bills' offense in 2025, even after what was already an elite season. And to understand where this team is heading, you have to start with the engine, the play volume. Last year, Buffalo ran 1,025 offensive plays. I'm projecting them to take a small step forward to 1,061 plays this season. That's not a dramatic spike, but it's meaningful. It suggests more sustained drives, better third down efficiency, and a more controlled offensive rhythm. Speaking of third downs, that's one area I expect to significantly improve. The 2024 Bills offense started off the year with some rough patches on third down, which impacted their ability to control tempo early in games. But by the end of the season, those issues had mostly been corrected. With a full year of Brady's system under their belt, and with more reliable options in the passing game, I don't expect to see that same early season slump. That's huge for an offense that already has elite potential. Another area of growth? The vertical passing game. It's no secret that Josh Allen struggled with the deep ball in 2024. Statistically, it was his worst year throwing deep since becoming the starter. That's not necessarily because he lost arm strength. It's about chemistry. Throwing downfield requires trust and timing. And when you're working with new receivers, those routes can fall apart quickly. But this year, with that chemistry now built and guys like Keon Coleman stretching the field, I expect a noticeable improvement in Buffalo's ability to hit big plays through the air. That brings us to Allen himself. I'm projecting a bump in his passing volume, up to 561 attempts, which averages to about 33 per game. That's a small uptick from last season, and I think it reflects the Bills leaning a little more into their passing identity without sacrificing balance. Allen's completion percentage should also climb. I have him at 66.3%, which would be his highest since 2023 and a solid improvement over the 63.5% he posted last year. That increased efficiency, combined with more volume, should push his passing yardage to 4,250. That's right around 7.6 yards per attempt, which is slightly below last year's mark, but still right in line with Allen's typical production. Touchdown-wise, I've got him throwing 33 based on a touchdown rate of 5.9%, which is comfortably within his career norms. And on the turnover side, I'm expecting 10 interceptions, a bit of an increase from the 6 he threw last year, but still a low number considering the volume. If he puts up those numbers, 66% completions, over 4,000 yards, and 30-plus touchdowns, you're looking at another MVP-caliber season from Allen, especially considering what he adds as a runner. So where do those passing yards go? Let's talk about this receiver room, because while it's no longer star-studded with names like Diggs it might be deeper and more balanced than ever before. I think the passing game will revolve around four primary targets: Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman, and Josh Palmer. Shakir leads the way in targets with 100, resulting in 70 catches for 775 yards and 5 touchdowns. His chemistry with Allen is real, and even though there might be more mouths to feed, Shakir's reliability on intermediate routes and third downs makes him a go-to option. He might not lead the team in yardage, but he'll be the engine that keeps drives alive. Kincaid comes in just behind with 95 targets, catching 64 passes for 705 yards and 7 touchdowns. I'm expecting a leap in red zone usage for the second-year tight end. Allen missed him on a few scoring opportunities last season, and with his route running continuing to improve, I think we'll see Kincaid become a real weapon inside the 20. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Even though Keon Coleman is third in targets with 85, I'm projecting him to lead the team in receiving yards with 805. Why? Because he's going to be the guy stretching the field. His yards per catch are projected at nearly 15, and while his catch rate may not be as high as someone like Shakir, the big play potential is off the charts. He also grabs 7 touchdowns, matching Kincaid for the team lead. Rounding out the core is Josh Palmer, who I see getting 80 targets, turning that into 54 catches, 700 yards, and 5 scores. That's efficient production, and I think Palmer gives Allen another veteran option who can win one-on-ones and be a reliable chain mover. His impact might not be flashy, but he'll be a vital part of keeping the offense on schedule. After those four, there's a clear drop-off, but still valuable contributors. James Cook is next with 42 targets, catching 31 passes for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Curtis Samuel? He'll be more of a gadget option, seeing 35 targets, 22 catches, and 220 yards with a score. Dawson Knox will still get red zone chances, with 30 targets, 20 catches, and 2 touchdowns of his own. You'll also see rotational contributions from Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, and Elijah Moore, though Moore's role is likely the most limited. Despite the talent, I just don't see a clear path to consistent playing time unless injuries hit the top of the depth chart. I've got him down for just 11 catches on 20 targets. What's clear from all of this is that the Bills are banking on distribution over domination. No more force-feeding one or two guys. This offense is built to spread the ball, find mismatches, and let Josh Allen make the right read. It's less about who's getting the most looks and more about keeping defenses guessing. And all of this brings us to the run game. James Cook remains the feature back, but just like last year, the Bills want to keep him fresh and explosive. I've got him penciled in for 220 carries, producing 1,095 yards and 10 touchdowns at a clip of just under 5 yards per carry. Add in his receiving stats, and that puts him right at 251 touches, which feels like the magic number for his workload. Josh Allen, of course, will remain a red zone weapon, even if his overall rushing volume is trending down. I've got him at 90 carries for 450 yards and 13 touchdowns. That touchdown total might raise eyebrows, but if there's one place Allen is still going to use his legs, it's when the field shrinks. Behind Cook, rookie Ray Davis slots in with 120 carries, 500 yards, and 3 scores, while Ty Johnson gets 50 carries for 215 yards and a pair of touchdowns. This isn't going to be a workhorse situation for any backup, but rather a committee that can keep the pressure on defenses all 4 quarters. Put it all together, and I'm projecting the Bills to rack up 500 total rushing attempts for 2,260 yards and 28 rushing touchdowns. That's a near mirror of last year's output, because why fix what isn't broken? As for special teams, Tyler Bass continues to be a bit of a question mark. I've got him hitting 24 of 30 field goals, which is a slight dip in accuracy, and 57 of 60 extra points. It's enough to keep the scoreboard moving, but definitely something to monitor. All told, this offense should score 61 offensive touchdowns, throw in a couple from defense or special teams, and you're looking at over 500 total points on the season. That's elite territory. As we continue to break down what this Buffalo Bills offense might look like in 2025, it's important to keep something in mind. This isn't just about talent. This isn't just about Josh Allen's arm or James Cook's explosiveness or Keon Coleman's upside. It's about cohesion, clarity, and consistency. And that's something we haven't seen at this level from the Bills in years. That's the theme this season: familiarity turning into firepower. Let's go deeper into this receiving group, because even beyond the top four contributors, Shakir, Kincaid, Coleman, and Palmer, there's a subtle chess game happening within this depth chart. A game of specialized roles, matchup exploitation, and personnel packages that keep defenses off balance. Think about the way Buffalo might use Curtis Samuel. Sure, he's not going to be a high-volume guy. In fact, I've got him at just 35 targets, catching 22 of them for 220 yards and a score. But Samuel's value is in unpredictability. He's the kind of player who could touch the ball twice in a game and change it both times. He's motion, he's misdirection, and he's the kind of player that makes a defensive coordinator hesitate, if only for a split second. And in the NFL, a split second can be the difference between a first down and a punt. Now, Dawson Knox. He's in a bit of a different spot. With Kincaid's rise, Knox has become more of a role player. But that doesn't mean he's irrelevant. Far from it. There will be games, especially in the red zone, where his presence will be felt. I'm projecting 30 targets, 20 catches, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But the thing with Knox is that his numbers won't always tell the story. He's physical. He's a willing blocker. He's a culture guy. And he'll have a couple of clutch moments that don't show up in stat projections, but shift the momentum of a drive or a game. Then we look at the running backs as receivers. James Cook we already covered. He's going to continue being a reliable option in the flats and on angle routes, with 31 receptions projected. But Ty Johnson and Ray Davis are part of this, too. Johnson might only get 20 catches for 190 yards and a score, but his role is more about pass protection and situational awareness. He's the kind of back who get called on for the tough 3rd and 6, where Allen needs time to find an open man downfield. And Ray Davis? I think people are sleeping on what he can be. A little more juice than people think. He's got power, but he's not just a plotter. With 15 catches for 140 yards and a couple touchdowns, Davis will have his say in this offense, especially when defenses are worn down and Buffalo shifts in a smash-mouth mode late in games. Now we get to Elijah Moore, and this one's a bit more complicated. It's not a question of talent. Moore's got the quickness, the route running, the agility. But his fit, that's the real issue. When everyone's healthy, I just don't see how he gets on the field consistently. Shakir's locked in as the slot. Coleman and Palmer are the boundary guys. Samuel brings more versatility. So Moore becomes a depth piece, an insurance policy. I've got him down for just 11 catches on 20 targets. That's not a knock on his ability. It's just the reality of a deep and layered roster. Injuries could always change that. But as it stands, Moore's path to meaningful snaps is a tough one. And then we get to the end of the depth chart. Players like Tyrell Shavers, who I'm projecting for 5 catches on 10 targets, 60 yards, and a touchdown. That may not seem like much, but for a player on the fringe of the roster, that's valuable. Those are special teams reps, red zone packages, situational lineups. There's always a place for guys who do their job and stay ready. I've also included a category I call Other, where I project a small handful of catches from players like Reggie Gilliam or practice squad call-ups. 5 catches, 40 yards spread across a few names over a 17-game season. Those small moments often fly under the radar, but every yard matters, especially when you're trying to stay balanced and unpredictable. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. Whispers have begun circulating in the NFL community regarding a growing rift between Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott and one of his star players, a situation that insiders describe as increasingly tense and delicate. According to sources close to the team, McDermott has reportedly expressed frustration with the athlete's attitude, training habits, or perhaps even off-field behavior, culminating in statements that have shocked even seasoned observers of the league. While the coach has not officially released a public ultimatum, the language attributed to him suggests a firm stance. He won't play under me anymore. or words to that effect. Such declarations, when they come from a head coach of McDermott's stature, carry significant weight, as they hint not only at potential benching or trade considerations, but also an underlying philosophical clash over the team's direction and culture. Analysts are speculating that this could be a strategic maneuver, intended to signal to the front office and locker room that certain standards are non-negotiable, or it could genuinely reflect irreconcilable differences that make a continued partnership impossible. As rumors swirl through sports media and social platforms, fans are left to dissect every interview, practice report, and sideline interaction, searching for confirmation that this tension is as serious as insiders claim. The atmosphere around the Bills, once stable and disciplined under McDermott's leadership, now seems charged with uncertainty and anticipation, with speculation running rampant about whether a blockbuster trade, internal discipline, or even a dramatic public confrontation is on the horizon. The narrative is evolving rapidly, and the stakes are high, not only for the player in question, but also for the organizational credibility and cohesion of a team aiming for postseason success. Reports from those close to the situation suggest that the tension between Sean McDermott and the player in question has reached a level where it might influence both practice dynamics and game day strategies. Sources hint that team meetings, once routine and professional, now feature undercurrents of discomfort as teammates and staff quietly navigate the fallout of the coach's stated position. In the locker room, whispers of discontent and speculation about future roster moves have begun to circulate, with some players reportedly expressing concern about the impact on team morale and cohesion. Observers note that McDermott's leadership style, characterized by meticulous planning, disciplined training regimes, and a strong emphasis on accountability, may be clashing with the personality or approach of this particular athlete, creating friction that is difficult to reconcile without formal mediation or organizational intervention. Beyond the locker room, fans and media analysts are dissecting every press conference and sideline moment for signs of strain, eager to detect whether McDermott's comments were a temporary expression of frustration or the prelude to a permanent separation. The rumor mill is fueled not only by direct statements, but also by subtle cues, missed practices, absence from team events, and changes in playing time. Such signals can amplify uncertainty, leading to speculation about potential trade destinations, contract renegotiations, or even early retirement if the conflict escalates further. In this context, every media outlet, social platform, and sports analyst becomes a participant in interpreting what the coach's declaration really means for the player's immediate and long-term future within the NFL, creating a narrative that is as much about perception and influence as about football itself. The drama surrounding this unfolding saga continues to captivate both casual fans and hardcore observers, generating an ongoing sense of intrigue and suspense around the Bills organization and its internal dynamics. Insiders hint that the friction between McDermott and the player could have broader implications for the Buffalo Bills' season and strategic planning, particularly if the player is a key contributor on offense or defense. The coach's statement, interpreted by many as a public severing of professional patience, may signal an impending reshuffling of priorities within the team, potentially affecting the depth chart, player rotations, and even coaching strategies for critical matchups. Analysts speculate that McDermott may be leveraging the public nature of his comment to influence negotiations, either encouraging the front office to facilitate a trade, assert stricter behavioral expectations, or reinforce his authority within the locker room. The rumor, while unconfirmed officially, has taken on a life of its own in sports media circles, with pundits analyzing past performance metrics, off-field incidents, and even social media interactions to construct a narrative around why this separation is seemingly inevitable. Fans have reacted in a mixture of shock, disbelief, and excitement, as such public declarations are rare and often precede significant roster changes in the NFL, creating a volatile environment where speculation can influence ticket sales, merchandise revenue, and overall fan sentiment. Meanwhile, team insiders reportedly describe McDermott as firm yet fair, A coach who has achieved success through discipline and accountability, but who does not tolerate what he perceives as a disruption to team culture. The timing of the remarks, coinciding with critical stages of the season, adds urgency to the speculation, as the Bills may face the challenge of adjusting their game plans and personnel strategies while managing media scrutiny and internal morale. In essence, the coach's comments have triggered a whirlwind of conjecture, rumors, and strategic analysis, highlighting how a single statement can ripple through an organization and captivate the broader football world with equal parts drama and anticipation. Sports commentators and former players have weighed in on the unfolding situation, offering their perspectives on how McDermott's declaration could impact both the team's performance and the player's career trajectory. Some suggest that if the split becomes official, the Bills may seek to capitalize on the player's market value, potentially negotiating a trade that could bring in key assets or draft picks, while others warn that the disruption could negatively affect team chemistry, particularly if the athlete in question has been a central figure in leadership or morale-building roles. Historical comparisons have been drawn to other high-profile NFL disputes between coaches and star players, each with varied outcomes ranging from redemption arcs to abrupt departures, adding layers of complexity to predictions about what may transpire in Buffalo. Media narratives are also emphasizing the human element, how the player responds, the psychological toll of being publicly sidelined, and the pressures of professional sports where personal and organizational ambitions often collide. Rumors about internal meetings, potential contract renegotiations, and undisclosed disciplinary actions circulate alongside speculation regarding other teams' interests, creating an environment where truth and conjecture intertwine, leaving fans and journalists alike to sift through fragmentary information. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.